Hello, everyone. Hope you are doing well. Let me make my light a bit less brighter. And we will get started soon. Let me just call more people to the lesson. Please join. Same in the free October chat. Okay, like this. Sounds great. Let me quickly share my screen. That's what number 2. Because we will need to go through your test cases as well. Okay. Okay, I just see a few people joined, but I think we can get slowly started and discuss all the questions that were asked and the results. So you did actually great job, guys, asking the questions and clarifying the requirements. Really great job. There were a lot of other issues that were real issues because some of them I created manually. I created some contradictions in the document, some ambiguities, removed some text, but the problems you found and the questions you asked were a lot of them were real problems that never existed, and I never created them manually. So great job. I just wanted to go through all of them and see if the people who were asking them are okay with the questions, so we can click resolved. So I don't see any new questions, but I don't see, for example, Natalia here in the list of participants. So probably we can just resolve that on her behalf. Okay, so Natalia is not here, but she found that there was just a typo, and I just fixed it. So we'll resolve this. And she was also trying to test the font family and the size, but we didn't have the application. So what I was trying to explain here, so you will need to check the font family and the size of the text in the application, not in here. In here, you don't have the, so this is not the exact application tag. This is just an example, right? That of the text that will be there in the application. And this is the example as well, right? So we will need to go to the application once it's ready and then test the application there in the text, the size, and the text family, and the color, and everything else. So this is what I'm trying to explain here. And she was just saying that visually it's more like family is Roboto and the size is 20 pixels, but it's not about the application, because this is not the application. This is just like requirements, how it should be in the application. And our goal will be to check that it's matching. Okay. Okay, it was a confusion there, so I had to fix it. The width is not, and same here, Natalia was saying that image is not 600 pixels, but it's not the application. Again, this is just an example of the image, but it says that in the application, it should be for 600 pixels and the height should be automatical, depending on the width of the image, but it should be approximately this size, right? So yeah, so she was checking the document image properties over here from this document, but this is not the application. So height, it was a typo over here. So Valentina just found that. Color, she found that there is no explanation about the color of the text, so I had to provide that. Good job. And she was confused as well about the size of the in here, about the 7 patients in the line. So this is what it means. If you have 7 patients, you see this table, just 7 patients and nothing else. But if you have more, starting 8 and more, then you see this kind of table, right? This is what we were testing as well and describing in the test cases. So we have 5 first, then ellipsis, and then the last one. So this is, and she was confused with this and asking, should be not 7, not 5. Yeah, so this is was the conclusion. Yes, if you have 7 patients, you see 7, up to 7. If you have 6, you see 6. If you have 5, you see 5. But if you have more than 7, like 8 and more, starting 8, then you see only 5 first patients, then ellipsis, and then you see the last one, which is the 8th or 9th or 10th or any other, the last number in line, right? This is what it means. What if the form cannot be loaded? So actually, this is, we need to, so it's a bug, right? So the form should be there. According to the requirements, form should be there. If there is no form, if there is no incorrect color, if there is incorrect position, that is a bug and you will report it. So you can ask this question about everything. What is if the button is not loaded? What if the image is not loaded? What if something else is not loaded? That's a bug and you just report it because something bad happened and maybe there is a bug in the code. Developers created the code that under some circumstances will know it loaded. So yeah, so you will report a bug if something like that happens. So this is actually not the question about the requirements, like it's more like general question about everything. What if something happens? You will report a bug in that case, if your expected result is not matching the actual result. Okay, vaccine button color clarified. It was added over here. Okay, so I then resolve this comment. But again, how this happens? Usually, you, as the person who asked the question, come here, you get a notification. I believe many of you got the notification. I believe, for example, Slava, I see Slava Efimov is here and he was asking questions and I didn't see answers. Probably, Slava, you resolved your questions, which is absolutely correct. You ask a question, I answer the question. If the answer is good for you, you then resolve the comment and we don't see it anymore. So that means we don't have question about that point anymore. If question is still here, that means something is pending. So that's the process. If you keep your questions over here not resolved, that means that something is there, something is still pending about the answer, so which is incorrect. And if you got the answer satisfies you, then you just accept your and resolve your question. So clarify calendar color. I just explained that the calendar that we are using is a standard functionality. It's a browser functionality. So just to explain more. For example, some of the things in the browser, not the console output. So some of the things are defined by browser. For example, me as a developer, what I do in the code, I just say input, like this, input, right? And as you can see, input appears and the behavior and everything else is defined by Chrome, for example, in this case. And how input looks like will be different in Chrome and Safari, in Firefox and Internet Explorer or Edge. It will be different because the style and how it looks like depends on the browser. So browser provides the styling. So if I do type equal to number, for example, let's see what happens. Type number, as you can see, right? So browser does this. What I provided just a type is a number. What happens next, how it looks like, is defined by browser. So actually, we are not responsible. If this is not working right now, this is not the problem of my developer, of my company. This is the problem with Chrome. Chrome somehow doesn't render that field properly, so that I cannot fix that bug, because what I do as a developer, I just say input and type number. Everything else is provided by Chrome. If I do, for example, password, what you will see, the buttons will be replaced by ellipses, and the cut and copy will be, as you can see, disabled. I cannot copy and cut that value from the field because it's a type password, and this is what I do as a developer. So the calendar as well. So let's try date. I believe it's a date. Never date. Yeah, as you can see, it automatically formatted everything, and the calendar and how it looks like defined by Chrome. And because I'm using Chrome right now, but if I use this in Safari, probably it will look differently. If I use this in Firefox, it probably may look differently. Same for other browsers, because this functionality provided by browser. What I do as a developer, I just say this. I say input type date. Everything else is done by Chrome. So if something happens, something is not working, something is not clickable, it's not my problem, and I'm not able to fix it because there is no way for me to change the color, as you can see here, to make the button working, because the only thing I provide is this. I say input type date, and that's it. I'm not providing the styling, the behavior, and everything else. It's provided by Chrome developers. And if you find bug here, it should be reported to Google, not to our company. So just to explain you more about this problem and the calendar color, I am not able to answer the question because it will be provided by Chrome or Safari, and it may look differently in different browsers. So I'm not responsible for the requirements for the form. I'm just giving an example that this is the form and this is how it should work. Right. So, okay, so we will resolve this. Text shrift provided. Edit the font family. Registration form doesn't appear in the center. Actually, it appears just in the middle of the screen. And cancel button color provided. It doesn't have a background, just the text font. There was a contradiction, so the buttons were like swapped, and this is what was the problem with the requirements. But other than that, everything is fine. So clarify this. But again, remembering you had to be the people who do this, who resolve the comments, not me. Okay. Yeah, so visually, Natalia just said, okay, so it shouldn't accept more than 70 characters visually, but the field can. It will be just moving the text to the left, right? And you will see the last part of the text. So it should accept 70 characters, and this is the requirement, and you will need to check it in the application. Because today I'm going to share the link with you with the application that is built based on these requirements, and you're going to start testing it according to the requirements. What happens if more than 70 symbols were typed? Nothing. The 71st symbol will be not accepted. You will just enter 70, and clicking buttons will do nothing. Yeah, I added how it works, but again, it's not our company's responsibility because it's built by Google. It's a browser functionality. Cancel button text is not white. Please clarify. Yeah, there was a confusion, so I fixed everything here, and right now it should be fine. Has a not background, of course. Cancel button is not active. Also, added the description, position. You just need to check the position according to design. It should be like on the design, nothing else. Of course, there was a confusion about the buttons. Same. Oh, Slava, you didn't resolve that one. Has a background, please clarify. There was a confusion, clarified. Again, cancel button, clarified that already. And same about submit button, already clarified. So it seems like we don't have any more comments. Yeah. And the requirements are clear. And thanks to you, you did a great job. And that was your first responsibility as a tester. So this is what we do as the first step. We clarify the requirements. Then let's go to the next step. So the second part of your homework was writing the test cases. And here are the people who did the job. So it was Marina, it was Slava, it was Valia, it was Lala, Natalia, and Tanya. So we will check. So let's try to open these guys. Numbers I will need to download them. Let's see if I download them. I open them, what we have inside. So what I usually do in order to write, when I'm writing the requirements, when I'm writing the test cases, I usually put side by side. So let's do this and let's do this. And let's see. Okay, so I will remove this. Cancel. Okay, so when navigating to the application, user see 4 quadrants. We will not go through the everything, but just to check that who was that? Marina was right. And of course, just a reminder, guys, you remember probably I said that who will complete all the homeworks will get a pretty good discount, and one person who will write the best bug report will also get a nice present. So yeah, please continue, because these people who completed the homework did a great job. You spend your time and I will give you something back. So thank you for doing that. Okay, so let's go further. So quadrant then is a text area. So this is really good. So yeah, she broke down everything to 4 different test cases, making sure that the top left is a text area. Top right is the image, and so on, right? And she also said compare the test design specs with the application. Okay, 3 lines. Okay, and the first line is this, second and third one. Okay. Awesome. Text in the area, the first line, second line, and there is one gap. I don't see the third line. Oh no, I see the third line actually. But she also added the font size and font family. Awesome. Color is this, image located in the middle of the screen. Oh, this is incorrect. There was a confusion. Yes, there was a confusion. So if there was a question about this, and there's actually confusion because the image is not in the middle of the screen. So you mark this as you can see, we agreed on marking this as yellow. Oh, I don't see how to do this in this nice cell over here. Fill probably over here like this. So you fill it with yellow, and then once you get an answer, you fix it. So you say image located in the left top quadrant. In the left top quadrant. And then you can unmark it. No fill, right? Because this is incorrect now, and so on. So far, it looks so good. I would like to check how she described the table behavior, and also how she described the input fields. Okay, so the table behavior. Table. So for symbols, if there are 7 patients, then the table displays all of them. If there are 8 patients, the table displays first patients, ellipsis, and the last 8 patients. Okay, got awesome. So yeah, 2 test cases should be full enough. As you remember, we talked about this case. So you just need 2 test cases to fully test that behavior. And also let's go to the field. Okay, field name accepts up to 70 symbols. Oh, so I don't like this. As you remember, we were talking that it should be tested on the boundaries. So it accepts 1 to 70 symbols. That means 1 and 70 accepted, 0 and 71 is not accepted. So you need to have 4 test cases. 0. Then you have 3 more, which is 1, it should be accepted. Then 70 should be accepted, and 71 should not be accepted. So you have 4 test cases to test this requirement, right? And also same for the last name field, you do the same. So you test 4 test cases for one field and 4 test cases for the second field to make sure that it actually behaves correctly. And other than that, it looks good. Thank you, Marina. Awesome. So let me quickly check what other people did. So for example, Slava, let me check your test cases and how you describe everything else. Okay, so to have a calendar icon. So you marked something as a yellow. So if you got the answers, please fix this and change it to the final version of your test case. But let's see how you describe navigating text area. So you describe the text area separately, then image, and you describe the image. And yeah, so actually break down this to separate test cases, because it should be one test case, one failure, and one bug report. For example, you may have correct color, but incorrect size, and incorrect alignment, and incorrect font family. Or you may have everything correct, but the font family is not correct, right? So it should be one failure, because here many things may fail. The color may be incorrect, and color is one single requirement. Size is absolutely different requirement. Alignment, which is left aligned, is also a separate requirement, because everything may be correct, but the alignment is not correct. And everything can be correct, but font family may not be correct. So everything should be tested separately, because that is a separate requirement that should have a separate test case. And in case of failure, it should have a separate bug report, right? You may not have 4 failures. In this case, you may. You may have incorrect color, incorrect size, incorrect alignment, and incorrect font family. So it possibly may have 4 different failures, but it should be separate test case for everything. So separate test case for color, for size, for alignment, and for family. Other than that, looks good because you covered everything. So this is not the big deal, because you covered everything and you will test it. If you mark this, you have to test it. And I know that when you will be testing, you will mark it pass or fail, which is good, but it should be ideally separate test case to test everything separately in isolation. So same with the size, with separate test case, height in separate test case. And here's the thing, table should display 7 patients at the maximum. Enter only 7 patients, all patients should be shown. So you don't have to test this separately. Right? This is the same, actually, these 3 are the same requirement. When you're saying the table should display 7 patient maximum, so this is what you exactly test over here. When you enter 7, you test that all of them shown. When you enter 8, you will see 5, then ellipsis, and then 7th line, you see number 8. So actually, these 2 requirements is what you described over here. This is just a general explanation of the requirement, and this is the exact tests. So this is not required. This can be removed. You don't have to put like general things prior to testing exact things. This is just a general thing. So what you do, you test actually those 2, and this just the same thing as those 2. You just describe general thing. Hey, maximum 7 patients are displayed. Okay, and this guy as well. Same problem here. So you describe the general requirement, which is accept 1 to 7 any symbols, and then you describe actually what you do. You enter 1, you enter 70, you enter 71, and empty 1, 70, 71. So actually, these 4 guys is exactly what described in this requirement. So if you test those 4, this is exactly what you test here. So you don't need to put like general requirement. If you have this requirement, I know that there is a requirement like this. So what you did, you put the requirement, then you describe that by 4 test cases. No, you don't have to put the requirement. You just described this guy by 4 test cases right away, and you don't have to put this on your test cases list, because what is described here is exactly what you're testing in the next 4 test cases. So your goal is just to put 4 test cases to test it. And other than that, it looks good. So good job, Slava. And so we pretty much described, already discussed everything. I just need to make sure that other people didn't do something very off. So, okay, so here is the thing. Who is this? Valia. So Valia is the same thing for you as we just described. So this is just a general requirement, and it should be described by 4 test cases. It's 0 symbols, you enter 0 symbols, it should not be accepted. You enter 1, it should be accepted. You enter 70, it should be accepted, and you enter 71, it should not be accepted. If you're not sure why we're doing this, go and rewatch the part when we are discussing the test design techniques and how we were testing boundary values. So if you test on boundaries, and the reason is very simple, the boundaries are used in the code. So the problems, usually the mistakes that developers do, happen on boundaries. And if you test boundaries, you will find the problem for sure, because either 71 will be accepted or 70 will not be accepted, or 0 will be accepted, for example, and 1 will be not accepted. So if there is a problem in the code, you will find it on the boundaries for sure. That's why we test boundaries only, and you need 4 test cases to describe this situation. You don't have to test 1, 2, 3, 4, and up to 70 and more. Like, you don't have to have like hundreds of test cases. For this case, only 4 test cases, and 4 test cases for last name field as well. And let me see, this is actually correct. So you used boundary here, and only 2 test cases required, which is 7 patients, and you see all of them, and 8 patients. You see 5 first, ellipses, and the last 8 patients. You don't have to test 100 here to see like 5, then ellipses, and 100, because again, the problems happen on boundaries. If there is a problem in the code, you will find the problem by just testing those 2 test cases, which is absolutely correct. Other than that, looks good. Maybe somebody didn't finish. It's okay. You will have a possibility to finish it after this lesson, because you will be testing the application, and you will be able just to open the requirements. They are finalized now, and just write the rest of the test cases and execute them. So which is okay. So thank you for that, Valia. Let me quickly see what is that it has. Oh, I don't see anything actually here. Not sure what is that. So let me download this. Hey, like this. And let's see what is this book has, because I'm not sure what is this. Okay. Okay, what is this? Sheet 1. And I don't see anything else. Yeah, not sure if you saved the progress. So Lala, make sure that you are sending test cases, because I don't see, as you can see, I don't see anything in your document in here. So if you're not sure what to do, just watch the first lesson. Everything is described there. What should be done, how to do it, how to use test design techniques, and everything else. So let me mark, this is confirmed, this is confirmed, this is confirmed, this is not confirmed. Let me use something like, oh, I will use this. Like watching, let me, oh, I need an access. So let me, just give me a Natalia. Not sure if Natalia is here. Let me quickly check who is here. No, I don't see Natalia in the current meeting. So we will check with her separately. So I requested the access, and let me just put this eyes here. And what is here? So what I need is just view access, nothing more. Okay, so seems like looks good. Let me quickly check. Yeah, this is this. If there are no patients on the line, I answered, the table should be empty. Just the header should be there with no patients. So you can fix it now. Okay, and how about this guy? I like this, that you added a separate test case to test that it accepts input except numbers, letters, and special characters. How it's done usually, when you test this test case, you enter all the types of characters. So you can see if first name input field accepts 0, because you will not enter any symbol, that's why you test 0. Then you enter any one symbol and test, but when you enter 70 and 71, you use anything. So you say input field accepts 70 numbers, letters, and special characters. So you mix all of them in this test case, and if the field accepts everything, then your test case passed, and you didn't have to test it separately. So you can combine this and add it to this test case logically, right? So you add it over here, and if it accepts everything, your test case passed, because it accepted 70 any characters, and this is actually exactly what you expect. Other than that, looks good. Looks good. So thank you. This is accepted as well. This is accepted as well. Oh, and I see Dmitry just sent. Okay, so let me accept this. And Dmitry, let's quickly check your test cases. Oh, I need access. So how to share the document? Like this, you click share in your document. Then you click, it will be blocked, but there will be like something to click the link over here, and then you change it. Then you change it. Anyone with the link is viewer, for example, viewer or commenter, and then you can copy it. You can click done, and then you can copy it. So the link will be available to anyone with this link can comment, can leave a comment. So you don't have to add specifically people by email. Everyone you share this document with will be able to comment it or view it, but not change it or delete it or modify it. It will be your document, but people will be able to see it, right? So this is what you can do. And you just copy the link and then send to the group. So, okay, so thank you for the accepting. I see your test cases. So far looks good. What I'm interested in, okay, this is good. This is broken down to separate test cases. Awesome. 7 patients you test this. So again, here we discussed this last time. We exactly mentioned what we test. So because up to 7 patients means like you will add up to 7, which is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You will test everything from 1 to 7. No, you don't have to. You need to test on boundaries, and boundaries are 7 and 8. 7, 8. So this is what you will do. You will test 7 and you will test 8. So you mentioned here not up to 7. You say that if you enter 7, you see all of them. If you enter 8, you start seeing 5 plus ellipsis plus the last entry. And here, actually, it's incorrect. You should see L7, not 5 plus 1. You should see 7. 7. If you enter 7, you see 7. If you enter 8, it starts showing 5 plus ellipsis plus the last one. Okay, and let's see over here. Okay, so 0 is missing. So again, it's not over 70 symbols. You say, again, mention exact number that you enter. 0, which is leave it empty. Then you test it, you click submit. It should be an error message, right? So it doesn't accept empty. Then you enter 1 symbol and 1 symbol to the last name. You click submit, it works. So it works for 1 symbol. Okay. Then you enter 70 symbols and click submit. It works. It accepts 70 symbols. And you enter 71 symbol and make sure that it doesn't allow you to enter it. How to test? You enter 70 symbols and then you try to enter 71. It should not add the 71st symbol. It should remain 70 in that field. How to check? You enter all W's and then try to enter A, for example. You will not see A appearing, right? It's not appearing. And you can do like this. You can just then select, you can try to enter 70, then try to enter more symbols, then you copy the whole thing and insert in the document and try to count symbols, that there are 70 symbols remaining. So it's up to you. It's up to your logic, how you will test it, but it should not accept 71st symbol. So you test 0, 1, 70, and 71. So this is what you test. You don't have to say over 70. You say 71, because if there is a bug and if it accepts 71 symbol, doesn't matter what number is there. Is there 1,000 symbols? Is there like 10,000 symbols accepted? Doesn't matter. The problem is that it accepts 71 symbol, which is incorrect, and you will find this problem by just testing on boundaries, which is 70 and 71, because it should not accept 71. So this is the logic of the test design techniques. You don't have to test everything. You don't have to test every combination in calculator. There is a limited amount of test cases that you need to test to make sure that it works. If it says from 1 to 70, you test on boundaries. From one side, 0, on another side, 1. You move to another boundary. You have 70 on one boundary, which is accepted, and 71, which is not accepted, and it should work like this. And that's it. Those 4 test cases, the only thing that you test. I see that month can be changed, and you test the calendar, but it's not required because we do not control. If you find the bug in the calendar, we won't be able to fix it because we are not controlling the calendar. The Google controls the calendar. So if there is a problem, that would be their problem. What we just do, we just say input type is a date, and how browser renders that, we don't care. We just need to make sure that we provide type data to input field, and that's it. Everything else is done by Google, by Chrome, for example, or any other browser. Other than that, great job. It's very, very good for the first time. If you're doing this the first time, this is your first time, you did an amazing job. So I remember, you just remind me the case when my manager when I was working at Apple, I was a QA lead and I had a manager and she was hiring people coming from nowhere. Like one day she just bring me a new person, and saying that, oh, she's a great QA, you're a new team member, we just hired her. Yeah, just it's up to you what to do with her, and she's in your team now, and give her some work. So I gave her to write test cases. I say, okay, you can start with test cases. Here's the documentation. You can write some simple test cases. And she was like, what is the test case? So you can imagine that some people at Apple don't know how to write test cases. And they were hired. I don't know, maybe she's a relative of somebody, I don't know, but she was hired without even knowing what is the test case. Now I can tell you that you did a great job, better than maybe half of the people I used to work with, because I used to work with different people and people who didn't know what is a test case, how to test boundaries properly, and many other things. And even at this time, you are better than them. So you need to understand that you have a pretty good chances to get a job already. Because I think, of course, there are people who even didn't look at the requirements, who didn't write test cases, but participated in the last lesson, of course. But what you did today already, and especially those who completed the homework, you did a great job, and thank you for that. I appreciate that. And actually, that was a good investment in your future. Okay, so let's move to the next step. Today, I will share the application with you. So let me open, I don't remember the link. So let me go to the service where we host our application. Then I will open it for you, and I will share the application with you. So our goal today will be to test the application and to find bugs and report them, create bug reports, which is probably the most common thing that every tester does. So we are looking for bugs, and once we find them, we report them, right? So this is what we're going to do today. 0 patients in the line, really? Yeah, so we have 0 patients in the line. So this is the application link. Let me send it to you. Let's say homework. This is the application. The application to test. Here's the link. So this is the application to test. Okay, and what is our job to do? Okay, so let me open Drive. My drive. Let me open Text Start. The free course, and I have something for you. Bug reporting, probably yeah, here it is. So I will quickly show you the presentation that I have for you. And then we will get started with actually testing and reporting bugs. Okay. So what are we going to do today? We are going to start executing your test cases. So you overview the requirements. Then you roll test cases, and the next step will be, so by this time, usually that happens parallelly. So once the requirements are done, developers, they are building the application in parallel, and you are writing test cases, right? And then once you're done, they are usually done with some part of the code, and you are able to test something. So you have test cases, and once application is ready, you're able to test the application. So the next step for you will be executing your test cases, which is just going test case by test case and say, check that when you open the application, you see 4 quadrants, right? And you mark it pass or fail. If there is a fail, you report a bug because you found the bug, and that bug should be fixed to your application to work according to requirements. And that's it, pretty simple. So we review the test cases, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what is the bug report? What is the bug actually? Software bug. So the history of software bug comes from like probably 80s, not 80s or 70s, like in 1960 something, 67 probably. One person in the United States, she actually found the bug in the old computer, like a big computer. It was used by United States Defense Ministry, and she found the actual bug, and she wrote on a piece of paper. She took scotch and she put that bug on the piece of paper, just taped that bug to the piece of paper and wrote actually the first case of the software bug being found, something like that. And that was a first time when somebody described the problem, computer problem, as a bug. And since that time, everybody is calling any problem in a software mismatch between expected and actual result is a software bug. So you'll be using this a lot, and this is a lot of this is the main actually activity that we do. We look for bugs, right, and try to find them, and then report the bugs to fix them, right? So this is our main goal, to find bugs and make the software better and make sure that it behaves according to the requirements. So if you find the mismatch, if you go through your test cases and you see that your test case says the button should be located in the middle of the screen and it's located on the left, on the right, on the bottom, on the top, it's a bug. It's a mismatch between expected result that you expect, which is requirement, and actual that you see in the application. So the mismatch, the difference between actual and expected, is a software bug. Super easy. And yeah, another explanation, expected result you get from the documentation, from the requirements, and from your test cases at this point, because your test cases right now have the list of the expected results. And actual, you observe while testing, right? And this is how actually bug report looks like in Azure DevOps. So you have a short summary. So, and we will talk about short summary separately because it should be short, but super understandable at the same time. And there are specific rules how to make it better for other people understanding. And why summary is important, because when you open the list of bugs, let's say you open all the bugs that were found during the previous week, it may be like 100 bugs. So you will see just their summaries, just numbers and summaries, right? And then when you click it, you open this form. So, and the problem is, if people want to quickly find some specific problem, the only thing that they will see in the list is the summary. They will see the summary in the list, right? So you can imagine. So let me actually show you. So for example, here is the application. Here's the Azure DevOps. Let's go to work items, for example. Work items, not here, probably. Sprints backlog. Not like queries. Queries. Okay. So new query, work item type equal to bug, right? And the state any. Can I run this query? Yeah, so this is what I can add another thing like the title equals to something and so on, because when I'm looking for some specific thing. But what I will see is just this, and I will be looking for some specific bug that I need to find, right? And if the summary is good enough for me to understand the problem, this is good. This is what we're trying to achieve. It shouldn't be something confusing. It should be something super long and super short that I'm not able to understand the problem. It should be short and understandable enough at the same time. And there are specific rules to do that perfectly. So, and we will do that. So this is how it looks like. And then when you open the bug, you see everything else. You see the summary, you see the steps to reproduce, and then you see sometimes it's one single step, because once you open the application, you see that right away, and the actual result and expected result, right? So this is what you see in the bug report inside. So again, you see short summary, you see steps to reproduce, and this is just the steps how to get to the problem, because sometimes it's very complex. Sometimes you need to do specific steps to go to the problem, and you need to describe how to get from the basic state when I open the app and go to the problem, to the actual result. Then you see the actual result, what is exactly happened, what is the problem about, and expected, what we expect as an expected result. And you see attachments. You may attach videos. This is a complex bug that you cannot describe by a screenshot, or you can attach screenshots here as well. What we did, as you can see, sometimes we just attach screenshots, just paste screenshot right away in the text form over here, where you describe actual result, right? And that's it. Super easy. So actually you have the information about how to do that from your test cases already. So for example, the image is missing. Let's say this image is missing. So the bug will be saying the image is missing in the application. So of course we know that there is one single image. So there is no need to mention which specific image is missing, because there is a single image, and you say the image is missing. Then you describe how to reproduce this bug. Just open the app. There is no specific step to do that, right? Just open the app, and then you see that the image is missing, and you can highlight it by some square. How I do this, I use this application called Lightshot. This is a Chrome extension. It's used Lightshot, and it like this, and it gives you a menu once you select the area. And if you select this, you may point, this is the problem, and even add an arrow, this is the problem, and even add the text describing like the problem is here, and so on. So this is a very nice application, just built in the browser to quickly make a screenshot. But there are any other applications to record videos, for example, right? And you just, if you want to use such application, just Google, hey, applications for making screenshots, applications for recording videos from the screen, and so on and so on. And you will, there's a lot of applications like that, and there's a lot of applications for making screenshots as well, and we use them daily. Sometimes company provides the tool set for you as well, and they have some specific applications for making screenshots, some specific applications for recording screens as a video, right? And so on. So it's up to the company and up to you. I'm using Lightshot in browser, and in Mac, there is a built-in screen recorder in Quicktime player, which is the default player on Mac. And there is a built-in possibility to record the videos. I can show who has Mac. So if you open QuickTime, here you have new screen recording, as you can see, and you can record the screen, and that's it. This is how it's done on Mac very easily. So this is how we do it usually. You just report a bug and enter actual result, what you see, and you expect the result. And actually expected result comes from the requirement, which is, for example, image should be present in the top right quadrant. And actual result, image is missing. And that's it. So this is pretty simple bug, for example. And let's go further. So what do we have? Ideal bug is not a poem, is not like super long text, it's not a lot of details. It's a simple technical English. Here's the summary, image is missing. Here's the steps to reproduce. Open the app and take a look on the right top corner. And then actual result, image is missing. Expected result, image is located in the top right quadrant. And you can even attach the screenshot from the requirements, right? As an example of the image. So very simple. Oh, and this is the rule for this short summary, because this is really important. Again, if I will be looking for specific bug, I will just see the list of bugs. And in order to quickly find what I need summary to be very, very specific, short, and understandable at the same time. So in summary, you try to describe three things. It's a 3W rule. What, where, and when happened. So what exactly happened? For example, image is missing. Image is missing. It's what happened, where it happened. You may say image is missing in the top left quadrant. So it will be saying what and where, right? So what, the image is missing, and where, in the top left corner or quadrant, or on that page. If we have multi-page application, you may say on the admin page, on my account page, on the registration page, on blah, blah, blah. So it will be answering what and where. So two questions. And when happens, it not always needed, because, for example, if image is missing, so when it's missing, all the times, it's just missing. If it's missing when you do something specific, for example, you have the image initially, but once you add a new patient to the line, then it gets missing. So at that time, you need to mention image is missing in the top right corner when you add another patient. So then you need to add, you will answer three questions. If the image is just always missing, there is no need to answer when. So it can be only what and where. But when is not required because it's always missing, right? You just open the application and you see it right away. But if it happens under some specific circumstances, then you need to mention under which circumstances it happens and describe that as well in the steps to reproduce. And we will do that today as well. Okay, so short summary, steps to reproduce should be short but descriptive. So for short summary, we already described three questions. If that answers three questions, there is no need to write a super long plan. It should be super short. Image is missing in the top right quadrant. That's it. Or image is missing in the top right quadrant when you enter another patient. There is no need to add like more information in the summary. No, summary should be short and descriptive. If you need to add more information, add it under the actual result or under the steps to reproduce. If you need to add some specific details how to reproduce the bug, but it should be not in the summary. Steps to reproduce, also, you don't have to mention every tiny detail. You may say, open the application, click get in line button, and you don't have to say enter the first name, enter the last name, enter the date, select the vaccine, and then click submit. No, you don't have to do that. You may say, if that is not important, because the problem is when you enter the patient, then the image is missing. So image probably is not related to the patient and the form. So you may say, open the application, click get in line button, fill out the form, just regular general thing. Fill out the form and click submit. And then pay attention to the right top quadrant. And that's it. So you, instead of saying fill out, enter the first name, last name, date of birth, select the vaccine, and so on, every tiny step, no. You may say fill out the form, because the bug is not related to the form. When is something specific happens on the form and you really need those tiny details, then you mention, yes, enter the first name, enter the last name, and then click something, right? And there is no error message for the date field or whatever happens. So if that is specific, then yes, you need to mention every single step. But if something is not related to the form, so you may describe it as simple as possible. Like open the app, fill out the form, click submit. And then you have the actual result, which is image is missing, and expected result, image should be present in the top right quadrant. Super simple. And yeah, so actually the main thing here is the difference between actual and expected results, because this is what bug has was the main purpose for you to find the difference between expected and actual, because expected comes from requirements from your test cases, and actual what you see in the application. And if there is a mismatch, this is a bug. So the difference between them should be super clear. There shouldn't be like, hey, another case. So when I was working back in Ukraine, we had a team from India, like maybe like, I don't know, like 20, 30 people, and they were doing like only regression testing. So instead of automation, there were manual people running automation every month. And those people were like not doing this, not following these rules. And again, another thing for you, if you follow these rules, you will be already better than like 80% of the people on the market and 80% of the people working in the industry already, because not everybody on the market and working in the industry already super good and nice tester, just to let you know. And those people, what they were doing, and this is the example about super clear difference, they were saying that, okay, actual result, image is not correct. Expected result, image should be correct. And that's it. And developers were sending this to the chats and saying, hey, how can I fix this? I don't even understand how it works. And they just saying, should be correct. How can you know from that expected result how it should be, right? So it should be specific difference. This is the image in actual, and you make a screenshot, and this is what you expect in expected result. It should be super clear. Correct means, in that case, I believe the color was incorrect and the tester just didn't know the correct color, but it should be clear. It should be red color, for example. It should be blue color or whatever. The color code should be there. The color right now is this in actual result. Expected, the color code is this, and super clear. So developer just takes that color and inputs in the code, and you have the correct color right away without going to requirements and anywhere else, and just without saying should be correct, because nobody knows what is correct in this case. You need to provide the expected result and what is correct in this case, right? So the difference should be super clear, because this is the bug. This is what describes bug, the difference between actual and expected. Screenshots and recordings are very useful. More details you add, more time you save. Again, remember the first lesson when I was explaining why we are looking for the problems in the documentation, why we describe everything with test cases. We try to improve the quality, not only quality of the application, but the quality of the processes. Because if there are problems in the documentation, in the requirements, what will happen? Developers will take the requirements and will work. There will be not a single developer usually. There will be like several developers working on the application, and one developer will read one part of the requirements, and the second developer will read another part of the requirements. And they will work on different parts of the requirements. And if there is a contradiction, one developer will implement code in one way, a second developer will implement code in second way, and there will be a bug for sure. Once you eliminate those problems, those contradictions, ambiguities, incompleteness, then you will prevent those bugs. If you prevent those bugs, you will not spend time searching for them, because you will execute test cases, everything will pass, and that's it. Developers will not waste time reading your bug report, then fixing your bug report, and then sending it back to you, doing all the communication stuff, opening the code, right? It takes time. Even to take one bug report, you have to open bug report, read it, understand it, then open your code, try to find your bug report, that bug in your code, and fix it, then send it back to you, type a comment, make a pull request. Okay, so developer will waste a lot of time just only for one single simple bug report, which is a big problem. So when you prevent that, when you work on the documentation, you prevent bugs and you save money and time for the company. Developers will anyways work 40 hours per week, but they will spend their time for something else, for building more application, building more code, right? Instead of just fixing bugs. And you then save the time for yourself and your team, because you will need to open the bug again and make sure that it's fixed. So you will have to go to the application, test this bug, execute the steps to reproduce, and make sure that right now it's not reproduced. So right now you're getting the expected result. And then again, leave a comment, open it, close it, read it, go and open the application, go over some specific scenario to reproduce that bug. And so you will also spend time. So you're saving a lot of time just by reading the documentation and preventing those problems. This is very important. Same here. So what happens if you don't provide screenshot, if the bug is very confusing, if you have unclear summary, if you don't have clear steps to reproduce? Let's say there are a few ways to get to that functionality. And if you go by one way, you are not getting the bug. That happens only if you go by using specific steps, right? So you just provide, in this case, there is a bug in this functionality. So developer tries to reproduce your bug, but unable to do it. What happens? Then he will reach out to you and ask, hey, I'm not able to reproduce it. So how to do that? Just go, it's here. This is how I'm getting it. And you record the video or send a screenshot. Developer tries again and again, unable to reproduce it. So then you say, okay, let's have a call. You have a call with the developer, and then you show the steps to reproduce the bug. And developer says, oh, now I got it. You were using a different way for that application to get to that application. And that's probably the problem, how you get the bug. And then you try, and developer was able to reproduce it. So you wasted time for communication first time, just to reply, to go back to the, so developers spend time on trying to understand your unclear steps to reproduce and your bug report. Then he tries to reproduce, spending time. Then he spends time calling to you or typing a message to you and blah, blah, blah. You then go and say, okay, let's make sure that that bug is valid. Maybe it was fixed. Sometimes bugs get fixed, but the developer is fixing something else, sees another problem in the code and fixes that right away as well. So you get some bugs at the end that were fixed, but they are not closed yet, but they were fixed. So you make sure that bug was not fixed, it's still there. You go to the application and try to reproduce that bug. And you are able to reproduce, you make a screenshot, send it back to developer, and you already wasted that time just for reproducing the bug again, making screenshot and communication with developer. Then developer goes to the system again and tries to reproduce it again. Waste time again for a single bug. I'm not talking about 100 bugs. This is just single bug case. Goes back to the application and tries to reproduce that. Not able again. Then you schedule a call. So now two people, you and the developer, spent 30 minutes, for example, just on the call, on a Zoom call, just to try to reproduce that bug. You finally reproduce it, but that could be prevented. That waste of time, and probably it may take sometimes 2 days just for you to communicate about this bug and finally reproduce it. So you wasted 2 days of time because you didn't provide clear steps to reproduce, clear actual expected result, and a screenshot or video recording. So whatever is better for you to describe bug super clear should be there. This is your job because you will save money, you will save time for the entire organization. This is why this is really important. It's not just because somebody took these rules and put it in a piece of paper and said, oh, you have to follow those rules. No, there is a logic behind all of this. So you have to prevent bugs. And I can tell you that not many people understand this. In most people, even a lot, some other teachers, other schools, they will be just explaining you these rules, but they will not telling you why you're doing this. And the reason is very simple, because not everybody understands this. There are people who know the rules, but they don't understand why they are those rules. So for you, I'm just trying to explain there is a logic behind this, behind all of this. So you do this to make your work clear, to have a clear understanding what happens, and to save time for you, for your department, for the development department, for everybody, for the organization itself. Because more details you put here, more you work on the requirements, more time you will save for the company, your company will be successful, you will grow as a professional, and do not hesitate to educate your colleagues, because you will see that many of your colleagues will not understand this, will not know this. Maybe even your lead or manager will be telling that they know these rules, but they will not understand why and what stays behind those rules. So you will need to educate those people as well, because if you have this knowledge, you need to share it with other people to make your company successful. And what then will happen? Then you will start growing as a professional, as a lead, and maybe you will become a next lead for your team, and then you will become a manager. This is what happened to me. I was a regular person. I was a middle engineer at the time when I got my first lead assignment. And there were people, senior people in my team who were working for 7 years in my company. I just came to my company, worked maybe for 6 months, and I was promoted to a lead as a middle engineer. And there were senior people in my team who were reporting to me. And the reason was very simple. They were working like robots, just, oh, follow the rules and that's it. And I was looking for the logic behind the rules, why we are doing this, and not just like blindly follow the rules. So that's why those rules exist. Why your bug should have clear summary, should have clear steps to produce, short and descriptive at the same time, should have clear difference between actual and expected result, and why there should be screenshots or video recordings to better understand the problem and save time. And not only for developer, but for the testing team. But again, bug will come to your colleagues. And it doesn't mean that you will be testing it again. If you have a team of 10 people, for example, and bugs come again, usually you pick whatever is there in the queue. And if there are 3 people, they will pick your bug reported by you. If they don't have a clear understanding what happened, they also will come to you asking about how to reproduce this bug. And you will waste the time again. You wasted the time with developer. Now you will waste time with QA person from your team to explain the problem again. So this is why this is so important, and you need to follow these rules. Let me know if that's clear. Just put a thumbs up like this. How to do that? I say, yeah, I see thumbs up from Dmitry. Good job. Oh, don't I see it? Can't I do that? Why other people can do that, but I can't? Because I'm a host. More reactions. Okay, here's the reaction. Here's how you put the reaction. You click on reactions and then you put thumbs up, for example. Put thumbs up if you understood why we are doing this. So Dmitry, thank you for doing that. Got your thumbs up. Okay. Okay, this is just a regular thing. If you found the bug, make a screenshot, reproduce it, minimize the number of steps to reproduce. Maybe you were going through the system with like some complex way, right? And came back to something, but there is a shorter way to get to that problem. Try to do that. Try to use a shorter way. If a bug reproduced with a shorter way, like minimize steps reproduced, right? Mention the shorter way to the problem, not the longer way, and just report it. And what are bug tracking systems? So I already showed you Azure DevOps. So Azure DevOps also has a part of the functionality is bug tracking system. So maybe you probably heard of Jira, for example, right? Jira or like Bugzilla or something like that. So they are designed only for bug tracking, right? Azure DevOps is more like project management. It has bug tracking system. It has document management system. It has code management system. It has test case management system, everything under one roof. So that's why we're using Azure DevOps, because everything is in one place. If you're using Jira, for example, so you usually use GitHub for your code, you use Confluence for your documents, you use Jira for bug tracking only. There are some plugins to use Jira for test cases as well, but usually you use different system, right? So, but all of them, they have the same purpose. So previously, this is how the bug tracking system looked like. For example, you report a bug, and that bug, you have a process. When there are bugs, they are getting assigned to a dev lead. So you go to this wall organizer, and there's like folders, as you can see, right? And let's say this one is a dev leads folder. So you report a bug on a piece of paper and put in the dev leads folder. So dev lead sometimes come to this wall organizer and just checks the folder and, oh, like there are 5 new bugs. opens those bugs and say, okay, this is for you, Jim, this is for you, Mike, and this is for me, and I will fix this. And there are 2 more bugs. Okay, Lily, fix this, and Amanda, this is your bug. So those bugs are assigned now to different people. And then once they fix their bugs, they put again in the dev leads folder. Dev lead comes, okay, this bug was fixed. So now there is another agreement. Once bugs were fixed, the dev lead puts that into, for example, QA leads folder. QA lead opens the folder and says, okay, there are a few fixed bugs. And now QA lead goes to their colleagues and say, okay, Mike, you will test this bug. It was fixed. You will test this bug. Lily, you will test this bug, and so on. So same thing happens. So bug tracking system made the same thing, but in software, right? So in Azure DevOps, if you report a bug, you assign it to somebody. So for example, you assign it to me, for example, Arthur, right? You assign it to me, and then I get the notification that something was assigned to you. I don't have to go to my folder. I don't have to go and check it. Sometimes I will get an email notification, or you can even connect this to Slack and you will get notification in Slack and so on. So now I am responsible for this. If I dev lead, I can just have the list of bugs assigned to me, and then I assign this to my developers. I assign it to some developer like this, for example, and leave a comment. Hey, Morgan, please fix it. This is something weird happening here, right? So my developer will fix it. Then my developer has a rule to assign it not to QA lead, not to dev lead back, but assign it to whoever reported it. For example, Andre reported it. So that developer will need to assign it back to Andrew, right? And Andre. No, let's select somebody else. But we would, okay, because we removed Andrew. Andrew is a student from like maybe 3 courses back. That's why, because he's not in the system anymore. But anyways, let's say Julia reported this bug. So I will assign it this to Julia, right? And then Julia will get the notification that bug was fixed and assigned to Julia now. So that what happens in the system. And this is how the bug tracking systems, they replace these role organizers. And this is how it was working before, and this is how it works now. So everybody has a responsibility, and whoever is a assignee of that bug now, that person is responsible for that bug now. This is that person's responsibility. If there are items assigned to me according to the process, and the process is like an agreement. We just, as a team, at some point we agree. Let's say, when I report bug, I assign it right away to the developer. Or when I report bug, I assign it to a lead or a manager or whoever is there. So we create those roles. So it really doesn't matter what process the company has, because it's an agreement and it's different in different companies. Sometimes there are small teams, and you directly to will check if everything is correct and then assign it to dev lead, and then dev lead will assign it to developer. So it really depends on the company, but this is just an agreement between the teams how to do that. But the rules are always the same. Whoever has this on their name, they are responsible for the bug or the task or the item at this time. So leave. And this is how it looks like in terms of like sprints. So usually you have tasks and you move the tasks, you see them on the board, like somebody is working on this task, right? So it's in active state. One is getting to be resolved. It was fixed, it's going move to resolved and assigned to another person who will be testing it. And if that person reproduces the bug, it's not fixed yet. That person returns back to active and assigns back to developer. Or if it was fixed, it's moved back, it's moved to closed. And that's it. Once it's closed, it's done. Nobody touches anymore. And this is how it works. Pretty simple, logical, nothing difficult. And that's it. So the homework will be for you is to, so what we will do. So again, let's open the application on the right. And let's open this on the left. So what we will need to do, I will even make this bigger like this. Oh, I see the bug right away. It's not 3 lines, it's one line that are changing to 3 lines once you decrease the screen size, actually the bug here. Yeah, so I will open the test cases on one hand. I will take somebody's test cases. Let's say Slava. Not sure if you have the Quicktime. Oh, it was, I believe, here. I don't see that. Okay, so let's use this column that have minus. Oh, I cannot change it. So what we will do? I will just create a copy just to show you how I would do that. So what I would do, I would move this guy to the right over here. So it's going to be easier for, oh, it's working actually. Oh, yeah. It's not a drop down for me, but it's a drop down for you already. Because when you can edit that. So by navigating to the application, user can see 4 quadrants. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can see 4 quadrants, so I mark it as pass. Text area is located in the left top quadrant. I mark it as pass. Text area consists of 3 lines. Actually, it's failure. I already checked that, right? It's not 3 lines, but now it's 5. If I change it like this, it's 2. Actually, it's a 1 line. It's a just one line of text that is not fitting to the quadrant, and that's why it becomes several lines. So it's dynamic. It's not. It should be like this, ideally, right? But it's not. So this is a problem. So what I do, I have a form for you. Let me open the form. Start reporting. Here's the form. So you will be filling this form, and I will do this right now as well. So send link, shorten link, bug reporting form, and I will put this in the chat. Bug. So the application, then first execute test cases. Second, report found bugs in this form. That's it. So you execute your test cases. If the actual result is matching with the expected result, you just pass your test case. If it's not matching, you open this form that is sent to you, and actually I need to open it from the link like this. Okay, you open this form, and you say your reporter. You mention your name. Okay, then summary. Summary will be. I will get the summary from the test case. So text area consists of 3 lines. Okay. The text area consists of just one line of text. So what happens? This is what happens. Where it happens, you don't have to mention, because we all know where the text area located. So it's actually also not required here. And when it's always happens, also not required. Again, you use 3W rules when something specific happens, and that needs to be described by when it happens, where it happens, because there can be a text area here and somewhere else. So you need to specifically mention which text area and where. And if it happens under some specific circumstances, then you mention when it happens. But in this case, it happens all the times. And there is one single text area because this is a single page application. So you can just say text area consists of just the one line of text. And that's fully enough and understandable. Steps to reproduce. Actually, it's a multi-line enter here. So open, or I like to do go to, and I provide the link. So the developer just able to just click the link and navigate to the application right away. And to open the app in full HD resolution. For example, by this. And once I open this application in that resolution, I see that there is a single line, right? Or I will do it like this. So I see that there is a single line, and you can also mention that if you make it smaller, it will be 5 lines. It's dynamic, but it should be 3 lines only. Okay, so actual result text area is a single line. Then expected result text area is consists of 3 lines. And then attachments. So what I would do, I will do like this. Then I will do the screenshot. Then I will select this tool and may even point the arrow like this. Then I will copy it. Oh, not a copy. Oh, can I do this? Can I paste the image here? Oh no, I have to save it. Okay, so I will save it now. I will open it again. I'll mark again. Like this, and I will save it. So we'll save it, screenshot. And now what I will do, I will select from my device. I will go to downloads, and I will find the screenshot over here. That's it. I will upload the screenshot as an attachment. You may not select severity and priority. It's not required because I didn't explain it to you. But that's okay. That's it. This is a pretty simple bug. So text area is consists just of 1 line of text, and I do submit. That's it. Submit another response, and I'm ready for the next one. So that failed. Awesome. That failed. Oh, this is not mine. This is my copy. The text has this color. Okay, so I need to break it down to more test cases, but let's see. Let's check the color. How to check the color? So in Chrome, you can do a right click on the element and do inspect. Once you do inspect, you are able to select this element selector tool, and you hover over here, for example, the text, and you will see different styles over here. You can go to compute it, and you will see the color, or to go to different styles that are applied or disapplied for this element. So I suggest you go to compute it. Usually it has the latest information about the text, and we can see that this is the color RGB 103, 58, 183. So let's check if that is correct. Yeah, it is correct color. So the text has correct color. I will mark it as passed. So the size 50 pixels, font size 50 pixels, which is also correct. Good. Left aligned. We see that it's left aligned, which is good already. I will close this. It's a left aligned. And font family is CGUI. Okay. It's not so easy to check here because usually browser applies many fonts to the element, but we will see if, what do we have here? So we have Apple system, Blink system, CGUI. So CGUI is here, as you can see. So you can mark it as passed, even despite the fact that there are more font families applied, but we have CGUI listed here. You can check with developers. Sometimes you say, hey, I'm not sure if that is correct, right? I'm not sure if this test has passed right now because what I see here is the text font family is not matching. In the requirements, it says just Sequoia UI. Here you have listed a lot of them. Is that correct or not? The developer will tell you, hey, we are not able to apply a specific font family because we are using predefined libraries. And those libraries that we use for building the front end are, if we select Sequoia UI, they generate this list. So it is okay. You can pass the test case. And you then say, okay, based on the developer's answer, you may pass the test case. And you go to the next one. And then you check the first line. Is there are. I would fail this because we don't have lines, so I will fail it. Or you can do an A because it's not applicable. Because of this failure, there are no 3 lines. There are no 3 lines, so you may not test this, right? So you will just skip it until this is fixed, and then you will be able to test these guys. Because right now there is no 3 lines, there are like 1 single line. That's why you are not able to test this guy separately. So the image located in the middle of the screen. Again, this was the problem, remember, because in the requirements now, it says in the right top quadrant. So I will copy from here. I will paste. And the right top quadrant. It is correct. So I'll pass it. And okay, width. And this is interesting. So let's inspect it. Let's inspect it. Oh, wrong thing. Inspect. And let's find it. I already see it, right? So even if I hover, I see under the image, I see that the size is 600 pixels by 300 and something. Oh, I see the width over here, and I can go to the computed, and I can see that the width is 600 pixels, and there is no height. I don't see the height. Styles. So there is no height because height is dynamic, depends on the width of the image, but it should be like 336. Let's see what we have in the requirements. Yeah, actually it's matching, so I can simply pass it here. But again, I would break it down to separate width and separate height test cases, and so on. You go test case by test case. If you find the bug report, then you report it. If you are not having the bugs found in the application, you just pass it and go forward until you make sure that every requirement is met and the application behaves according to the requirements. And that's it. That's pretty much it. So again, a lot of things you already did as a preparation. You reviewed the requirements and then you prepared your test cases. Now the time to execute your test cases, go test case by test case, and make sure that every requirement is met. And that's it. Then you make sure the application behaves according to the requirements. This is how requirements become working application. And your goal is to make sure that it behaves according to the requirements. And that's done by preparing test cases and then executing them. So you compare your test cases, which is the expected result, with the exact application. And if there is a mismatch, you go and report the bug. And next time we will do a little bit of automation as well. So by the next Tuesday, your goal is to execute all of your test cases and report bugs in the forum. And on the next lesson, we will quickly overview the results of the testing and we'll build your first test automation framework. So that will be our goal. Pretty simple. Hope you understood everything, and I hope that you also understood the reason behind all those rules that we discussed today. And now you have better understanding how the industry works, how the tester work, what we do daily, what we do every sprint, and what is our responsibility. And I hope that you understand that we have a central role to make sure that the application behaves correctly, because without your work, without your checking the requirements, application will have a lot of bugs. and the company will spend a lot of time fixing them and checking them. So that's why QA will always be essential for the companies, because the companies, some companies try to do something without QA, but they are not successful. They usually have a lot of bugs. They spend a lot of time on the development team, and the development team doing testing is very expensive, because usually people who are doing testing, they're less expensive resources than the development team. So that's why QA team is an essential part of the development process right now. And right now, even nobody says QA team separately, development team separately. Everybody says development team, because QA is just part of the development process. You start working at the early stages on the requirements, then you prepare your test cases, then you execute them, you report bugs, then you check that everything was fixed, and you say your word is the last word that says application is ready to be delivered to the customer, or application is not ready, we still have to fix these problems. So this is the process, and it's very simple if you understand it. If you do the homework, you will face some problems. This is how we teach, how we learn new things. We learn something new, we try to do that, we do the homework, and then if you hit some problems, then you ask questions, and then you understand, okay, this is what I probably could do better next time, and so on and so on. So this is what we do. That's why homework is essential for your education as well, because homework is just a way for you to make sure that you understood everything. Because sometimes you may think, okay, seems like I understood everything, and you didn't do homework. And then you, at the end, you will realize that you didn't understand that topic properly, and the homework is just the way for you to do the job and to make sure that you can use your new knowledge and to be a successful professional in the industry. That's it for today. I think it was very simple, and the process is very simple, nothing difficult here. And if you do the homework, you will again get a discount, and again you will have a better understanding right now and better preparation for the course and for your future job, because this is very essential to understand everything properly, to surround yourself with other professionals, not with the people who are not motivated, who are like dragging you down. No, you need to surround yourself with the professionals. You need to do the homework, and you need to surround yourself with the people who are doing the same, who are motivated enough, who are proactive, and who will be your colleagues in the future. And believe me, what usually happens, so some people, they find different jobs, right? And then somebody says, I'm looking for a new job, right? And mention that in a group in the chat. And other people who found other job say, hey, we're looking for a key engineer right now, or we need to build automation. And then they give a reference in their companies and they hire you, and you start working with the people you were studying with, which is super amazing. So right now I have one team here in Roseville. At HP, we have four people who were studying together. So we were working in they were working for me. Some people were working for me in one company. Then one person went to HP, and then one person became a software developer. He was doing automation, and then he took the React course and went to software development. So she gave a reference, and he was hired as a developer to HP. Then one student was looking for an automation job right away after the courses, and that girl who went first to HP hired him as a QA engineer. And then was another person who just took manual course and then automation later. So she also was looking for the first automation job because she was working as manual. So she took that opportunity as well, and she was hired as well as automation engineer. So right now, like four people who were studying, three of them were studying in one group, and the fourth one, who was automation engineer, he was studying later. Yeah, so usually maybe some people like you, even to attend, who attend this meeting right now, will be working together. That is absolutely possible. So just surround yourself with those people and do the job, do the homework, and surround yourself with people who do the homework as well. And believe me, you will be successful and they will be successful because you will be attracted to each other. You will show them how to be proactive, how to be motivated, and they will be showing you as well the motivation and proactivity as well. So that's so how many people we have? We have right now from 10 to 15 people in the group. Of course, we would like to have more. We have decided that we will probably limit the groups by 25 people. And if we have more, probably we would do few courses. We would need to bring another teacher and have like 2 courses, QA courses in parallel, 25 in each. But right now, what we have usually like 10 to 15 people. This is what we have right now. Any other questions? I see. Thank you. Thank you. Great lesson. Thank you guys for coming. Any other questions? You're good to mention that in the chat or just unmute yourself and tell me that by voice. Okay. Okay. Seems like everything is clear. It should be clear. I tried to explain in super simple words and hope you got the topic, but just don't forget about the homework because that's very important. I don't need it. This application was tested many times. I don't need your work, but you need your homework because that would be practice and you will understand if you still have some gaps. And if you don't have some understanding, just ask me a question, just send a question in the chat. Hey, am I doing this correctly or something like that? And this is for you to be a professional. This is not for me. Your test cases are not needed for me. This application is tested and this is just a test application developed for you to play with it, to develop your testing skills. So please complete the homework. That's it. Thank you so much for coming and see you next time. See you next Tuesday. And let's work on the test automation. See you. Bye-bye.